I don't know about you, but I'm trying to touch grass as much as possible or just be away from my computers. And I've been doing a lot of this type of coding with cloud agents, especially using Cursor's platform. And it's been quite incredible. And a lot of people have been asking me, like, hey, I don't use Cursor. Is there another way to do this? I already have my Claude Code subscription or I have my Codex subscription, and I want to be able to launch many agents and control stuff over the cloud. And today I have a very special guest, and his name is Corialis. If you haven't met Corialis, have not been to my Discord, he's one of the legends who's been like a part of this billion token members club for quite some time, since before it got super crazy. I would even say he's probably part Korean somewhere, because he's the number of tokens that he's burned is on par with these folks who are just absolutely burning like crazy. But through these experiments and through many things, he's put me onto this thing called T3 code. And so T3 code is going to allow us to basically remote control into our machine. And like, I haven't set this up personally, but Corialis has gone super crazy to try to get this thing going so that he can use his phone to control his agents. And so today I'm just going to walk you through a little bit and have him kind of walk us through this. It should be really, really fast to get set up, but I have lots of questions, and you probably have lots of questions too for how we can get this set up with different coding agents and other things. And I'm not really well familiar with this, so this is just going to be us learning on the fly. And this is just a great time for you guys to ask any questions. So I just have, because it's a live stream, go ahead and slide through your comments. John, Fernando, what's going on? Thank you for coming through. We got DVS saying hello as well. We got Matt. Thank you so much. I probably from NVIDIA, I think with those NVIDIA colors, throwing up gang signs right now. Speaking of GTA 6, we'll get more on that later. But yeah, without further ado, Corialis, thank you so much for popping through the stream, man. Good to see you. And let's just try to figure out how we can get this thing all cooking, right? So yeah, tell me what your workflow is here.
Well, it's T3. So the first thing, you use your local CLIs. So for me personally, it's Grok Code, Claude Code, and the Codex CLI, and the Cursor CLI. So I have all of them. Once they're all wired in, that's basically it. You're good to go. You wire up the T3 remote, and you're good to go. You just send the prompt, let it go cook.
So what we basically do is just download this thing. And once we download it, the way that it's going to work is like, I have a Mac Mini. I have a Mac that I'm currently streaming on right now. And I also have a phone. So for those who are watching, how can I control my Mac Mini? So what I did was I just went into remote control for my Mac. And let me just go ahead and see if I can actually pull up that screen sharing session. On my Mac, I just basically pop up a thing called screen sharing. And so I'm just going to go ahead and log in here. Hopefully I can log in. Cool. And so once I install T3 code, there's a place here to authenticate and just sign in for myself. And then from there in the settings is kind of where I go back in, and there was a place to actually, I think there was like a section up here that says configure T3 connections. I think it's here, right?
Yeah, once you first install it. So under connections, you'll see anything you've already signed into, you'll see it show up under all environments, and you can just click connect.
Okay. So then now that I'm set up with the connection, like I basically would install it here, and it's going to ask us a couple questions, whether it's like a remote environment, or if we could say add environment here, it'll say remote link, or with a SSH or something like that, right? No, this is a different setup. Yeah. Okay.
You'll see it basically as soon as you come to this screen, anything that you've already signed into with T3 code will automatically show up, and you just click connect.
Got it. And so this interface will allow us to connect from one machine to another. And the whole goal with this whole setup here is that we're basically trying to get our communication so that, you know, one computer can talk to another, but this also means that your phone can also talk to the machine that's currently running on it. And so when you go through those signups,
so it's like, if you're out in, like for you, because you like to go to the beach a lot, if you're on the beach and you have a great idea, you just open your phone, type in a prompt to whichever machine that you want to cook on, whether that, if you've got, like me, I have a Mac Mini that's on 24/7. I also have like a Linux server that's on 24/7. So I can build on two different machines simultaneously just by selecting which one I want to build on.
Oh, I see. Okay. So now that I have the Mac Mini,
replicating Cursor.
Yeah. And they could just run on those machines and do stuff. So I have a 2DGX Sparks. So those run Linux, and those can probably do dev extremely well and spin up workstations and kind of not really go crazy like a Mac would. And so right now, I have my current Mac right now is currently going through the setup right now. So the first step I did was publish, because that means I want this like laptop that I'm streaming on to be available from my phone if I'm stepping away or doing something else, right? Like if I'm running a process here, like launching an app or doing something in the app store or something like that. And then the other one says step 2, connect devices. So I can connect to the Mac Mini, which is called Honu, and this is available currently right now. So I just hit connect, right? Just hit connect
Yep.
and it's connected, right? I think that's it.
Done.
Connecting
That's it.
through T3 Connect. Okay.
Yep. So
And
any
then
device that you've installed it on and set the T3 Connect up on will
I
show
see.
up in that screen, and you
Okay.
just click connect. And at any point, when we a bit later, when you go to give it a prompt, you basically say which machine you want to connect to.
Oh, okay, okay. So now that I'm here set up, I have it all set up here with the different connections. And if I go down to like connections, I'll see the Mac Mini, which is to the Honu, and that's the
Yep.
how it's all set up.
But
Nice.
you need to go to providers and just make sure that your providers are all authenticated that you specifically want to use, and it should auto detect quite a few of them.
I see.
So
Okay.
it's hit and
Oh,
miss.
wow.
Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't.
Oh, so I can turn on cursor too, so like it can actually launch
Yep.
cursor for me.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. That's actually wild. That is so awesome. So right now I could just use Claude and Codex and just be like that, and without these other ones, like Grok is a good one to have too. Dang, there's so
Yep.
many good ones.
It also supports multi-subscription. So if you've got 2 Claude Code accounts, like some of us do, or
Uh-huh.
2 GPT accounts, you can connect both of them,
What? You just hit plus again and connect another Codex account?
basically.
Bro, so we can go full degeneracy here.
Yep.
Yo,
So
Tech Friend says, yo. Yeah.
you're basically replicating Cursor Cloud, but locally.
But with like multiple and in your own providers, because you just pay one sub like $200 a month, whatever. So T3 code is free, so we can just I just downloaded for free. I paid $0. Like there's nothing that they have for me here. So source control, is this where it connects to my own GitHub? That's already connected. Nice.
Yep. It should
Okay.
auto, like I said, it auto detects pretty much everything.
Awesome. So if I wanted to work on a project, for example, on my remote machine,
There
like
you
the
go.
Honu thing, so I can click that one, and then this is
And
now
then browse your
browsing
folder
the
structure.
folders on that Mac right now.
Yep.
So there's no project set up, so I could just say local folder browse on disk. So this is browsing the remote machine.
Yep.
Whoa. Okay. Workspace. Oh, no way. This is crazy. Okay. So I can just do like Clippy Desktop, which is the one I'm really working on. Okay. And then I just hit enter. Okay. Whoops.
Oh, in the top right, it says open.
Okay.
Or add.
Add. Okay. Cool.
There you go.
Wait. Hold
And
on.
then
This is too good. This is too good. Let me make it bigger and stuff like that so that people can see. Okay.
as you can
So-
see right now, you're defaulted to Claude Fable 5. And if you click on it, you'll be able to select which CLI provider you want to use as your orchestration model. You can set up routing so it can kind of automatically spin up stuff like codex subagents and all that kind of stuff.
Oh my gosh. So I could just do auto for whatever full access. Yeah, that's the YOLO.
Yeah.
So right now, the Honu is basically my Mac Mini. And so we're talking to my Mac Mini, and this could be basically anywhere in the world. And there's also like another sidebar for browsing files and agents and doing things, and even terminal, start a shell in this workspace. So that's amazing. Cool.
Yep. And a browser.
And that's crazy. Okay. Wow. These guys cooked, man. Holy smokes. So this is like a baby cursor.
Basically, yeah, but local. It's really
Whoa.
it's really good.
Dang.
And if you kick off a prompt right now
Yeah.
and then like open your iPhone,
Oh,
you'll
no
be able
way.
to see you'll be able to see what is exactly what's on your Mac. It'll mirror it. So like you can actually update the prompt from your phone, which will also show in your desktop.
Wow. So if I go to like GPT 5.6, like Luna, and I just do like, yeah, this medium's fine or whatever, and just say, tell me what is going on in this repo. Do we have the latest changes? And then that's it. Like, just send that off.
Yeah.
And then right now I have a screen sharing session on my, or iPhone mirroring session. Let's see what's going on. Let me connect to that. Let's just, so,
Load T3.
okay, T3. Let's see. T3. Oh no. My thing's all it's like it's hanging. So I'm using the beta right now. So let me just launch it and then here we go. Yeah, everything should be back. So let me screen share again. Screen share. Okay. iPhone mirroring. Okay, here we go. So it's in use. I lock it now and then it should be happy/excited. Okay. Awesome. So here we go. Set up T3 Connect. So I just go ahead and turn it on for my Mac Mini and probably also turn it on for my laptop because like whatever sessions are running on those machines, those are the ones you'll be able to see. So as of right now, I'm basically back in my account. I'm just going to slide this away. And then this is actually what's running. This is what's running here on my actual, so I'm actually using my laptop, which is
click on it.
Yeah. So click on it right now. Wow. Okay. So is this streaming live?
Yep.
Oh, I see.
It's streaming from your Mac Mini to your Mac and your phone via T3 Connect. So now if you issue a prompt on your phone, you'll see it on your desktop.
Wow. Okay. Can you pull the latest and what? Okay, hold on. I got to actually read what's going on. So no, this checkout's not current. Can you pull the latest and run the build? Okay, so I sent this across. Okay, send. Okay. So this, yo, this is crazy. This is cool. So I am basically remote controlled with my phone. So my phone is technically right here and I'm doing a remote control session and I've kicked off like the prompt and I'm just still controlling it from the Mac Mini. So like if you're wondering what type of setup do you need to do this type of remote control coding, I would then say you probably just need like a Mac Mini or even just a laptop that you're currently using. Just have that set up with T3 code, install the T3 code stuff on your phone, make sure you sign into the same account, and then they'll start showing up. And then whatever accounts that are currently signed into your machine, whether it's Claude Code, you can use Grok, you can use Codex, you can also use Cursor as well. Right? Like I could tell this to kick off Cursor agents, and then I'll just have all my different projects that are working all syncing across no matter where you are in the world. So like if you have a project that's on your Mac that's building and there's too many resources, but you have a Mac Studio that's running a whole bunch of your, app building stuff for iOS, you have a whole process over there, just use whatever machine you're on and you're not going to lose the session. Because the biggest problem I have is like whenever I've launched Codex, trying to sync between all the machines and then Codex, you have to select the machine that's remote that's running and then you have the chats there. Like there's no like one unified sidebar for all the different chats for everything that you want. So this is kind of nice because it looks like you'll just have one unified sidebar, whatever's running. It's just kind of simple, actually. I don't know why people haven't figured this out yet. This is amazing. Wow.
It's really good. The reason that I like it is it's very simple.
Yes.
It just works.
Oh my God.
But it lets you, like, as I said, I have a Linux server for kind of work projects.
Yeah.
I've got a Mac Mini for my own personal ones.
Yeah.
And then I've got my MacBook Pro. All three of them are always on. And I very rarely code from my actual machine anymore. I usually just sit on the couch on my iPhone.
I can see why. So this even tells you what project you're running, what model is currently running as far as, and what machine it's running on. And then like whatever is going on. So like this is running from my phone. And so if I go back, like I can keep going to other projects and I could even filter them out by project of whatever I'm working on. Because obviously once you start spinning up lots of projects or even different environments, you're going to have a lot of stuff that's going to be in here for the different accounts that you have.
You can also settle chats. So on your left, on your left sidebar or in here, if you kind of slide to the left slightly, you'll see a little button called settle.
Okay. Like flick to the left and slide?
Yeah, just flick to the left.
I don't
like
think
on the actual chat.
Okay, over here, like this.
No, well, yeah.
Oh,
so
actually,
literally,
slide.
Like swipe to the left.
Okay, here, yeah, settle.
So if you settle the chat, if the chat is finished, it settles it, which puts it into a new bucket that says basically you've finished with this chat. So only your active chats are actually shown at the top. It's really useful.
And you can snooze one, for example, if you have like a plan that's just running for a long time, and you just want to check that up on like a different day. That's hot.
Yeah.
Dang, look at all this. And I love how it shows you all the files that it's touched. It's like, cool.
Pretty good.
Man, this is nice. Oh, this is nice. Okay, so pulled successfully and then no fatal warnings. Cool. So now the Mac Mini has the latest changes for this repo and this thing. Wow, that's awesome.
Now, if you combine it with something like PStack, it'll instead, because at the minute it'll only use GPT unless you tell it that to spin up sub-agents using Claude Code and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Obviously, if you use something like PStack or a kind of model routing skill that
Yeah.
says, you know, I want engineering work done by this model, etc., it's smart enough to know that that model is only available via the Cursor CLI or via the Grok CLI, things like that.
Okay.
And then it'll spin up that specific CLI tool to do the task.
I see. So once you start a conversation with one model, it looks like you can't switch back and forth, is like what I understand.
No, so yeah,
Ah,
basically. So you need to think of your chat window as your orchestration agent
I see. Okay. Got
and
it.
guide it accordingly. So,
Okay.
but
Oh.
if it's a small task, you can just settle the chat and start a new one with a
Oh, I
different model
see.
if you
Yeah,
want to.
because this was just getting the repo up to speed and stuff, and then like trying to figure out, what other issues and stuff that I have added. So like if I have skill files installed, I could just say, $ skills or something, right?
No, just tell it to you. Well, you can. It depends because dollar works if you're in the GPT harness, but obviously if you're in the Claude Code harness, you'd use the slash command.
Oh, I
So
see.
the better way to
Skill.
do it is just just tell it to use a specific skill
Oh, okay.
rather than
That's
invoke.
right.
Right, so don't invoke the skill. Just call it by name. Just
Oh.
say use the Codex Waves skill, or
Oh, okay. Wow. So I can just say Fable 5, not Fable 5. I could do Opus 5 just on high or whatever the default is. Okay.
Mhm.
So like waves.
Yeah, just
Can
call
you
out the
make
skill name.
sure you have the latest wave skill? So this is on my Honu. This is the Mac. Okay. Bro, this is gonna be crazy. This is so crazy. So like someone's like, wait till you discover okra or orca.
Okra's good. I like okra. I do
Yeah.
like okra, but I like T3 for its simplicity.
Yeah. T3 like simplicity is crazy because I think on my phone too right now it says something about like there's a little home like agent work completed. So when you get these little notifications that tell you like and it just punches you right into the app right now. So yeah, it punches me right into
Yep.
the app. Dang. This is really cool.
That's the reason that I prefer T3. It's purely because it's got really good iOS integration.
Mhm.
So for me, especially when because I've got very young children, so I can't it's hard for me to stay glued to my computer. It's a lot easier for me where I can just pick up my phone and be like, oh, it's finished, right? Start the next implementation phase, and I can put it down and I can carry on making dinner for the kids or kind of just sit and watch Netflix or whatever.
So because you can step away from the machine, first it launches the session. So it's similar to having like a terminal up, similar to having Codex up, similar to having Claude Code up and you running the session. And so if like this is perfect setup if you're running multiple providers, which I think anyone who's been serious about AI coding and is not stuck to one provider, they tend to have like all of them. And open code has access to I think all the other open models too. Like their Go plan I think
It
has a
does.
really lucrative, like I don't know, they give a crazy amount of access to some of the open models. And so if you have that involved with the other plans that you have as well, and just kind of have the whole trifecta here, you can definitely do a lot of like coding here with just so like that's the tough part. It's like how do you unify all of them? How do you get the remote control
Well,
access? I think this is kind of what's interesting here. Yeah.
to put it in perspective, in the last 7 days, I have burned $12,000 of API usage in just Claude Code and GPT alone using T3, and that's all contained within my subscriptions.
So you didn't have to spend extra money. You've just been going crazy with T3. Yeah. That's wild.
Basically,
So
it's all from my phone.
yeah. So in essence, the cloud here is that you're basically having some dedicated machines that are set up. So like my case, I already have a Mac Mini. I've had a Mac Mini for running OpenClaw for quite some time. And so, I was using it for development work too. I would just SSH into it. The problem with SSH was just kind of the formatting of the code and everything that comes across in the sideways screen here. But having it on a phone like that is so nice. Also, the handoff between like other machines and trying to go between them is pretty nice too. Also, like this, yeah, like so. Yes, I can SSH in, but it's not the same when you have the formatting, links, and everything you have. So like T3 code is free. It's an alpha stage right now. You can download it on the phone. You can download it on your Macs. Is it Linux compatible too?
Yes.
Oh, hell yeah. That's crazy. That's
So
crazy.
like I said, my main machine that I do a lot of work on is a Linux machine.
Okay.
That I, again, 90% is done from my phone.
Oh, I got to re-authenticate. Yeah, this is another, I just authenticated before the stream, but I think Claude is really aggressive for authentication
Yeah,
and like
Claude is.
they're going to like, yeah. And so we can also do the other things. So like, this is what we got. And I also think, this is really interesting. So it says, I've been using T3 code for a few weeks and it's great. Since it's all a thin electron, all apps or all software are the same app updates affect all at the same time, better uptime. I don't think this is Electron,
Yep.
right? Didn't they write it in Swift? Like isn't,
No, it's I believe it is an Electron app.
oh, okay. Got it. Let's see the GitHub. Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. Wow. Nice. Wow. Oh, so like it's open source. Like you can fork this.
Yeah, it's 100% open source, but he's not accepting contributions from PRs just yet.
Got it. Look at the. Yeah, that's wild. Damn. Split provider settings, listen to an editor. That's cool. This is awesome. I can't believe it's free. That's insane.
It's, to be fair, for what it is, it's pretty good and it does a very good job.
Mhm.
It literally lets you replicate the whole Cursor Cloud agents directly with your own stuff in your own subscriptions. So your only limitation is how many subscriptions you've got and your imagination, basically.
Okay. That's pretty cool. I mean, this is like, I think this was like super crazy easy to install. I think, oh, they said there's a test flight for a Swift version of the app too. So I guess somebody went degenerate like and installed it all. Is there anything else we should kind of know about how we should install and run this? Because how do I basically ensure code quality? I think that's the other big problem. So one of my favorite things about Cursor is I just tell it to use PStack. And so what do you use here to sort of like, let all the tokens burn, or how do you set up like a orchestration so that we can, like I can literally just sit on my couch and just steal
Exactly the
features.
same way.
Yeah.
Same
So
way.
walk
So
me
basically,
through this.
if you
Yeah.
install PStack, but you'll need to PStack is cursor specific, right?
Ah,
So you need to tell it that you don't want to use Cursor Cloud agents. You want to route via your locally available CLIs, and just tell it that you're using T3 code, T3 Connect, and it figures it out. It updates the skills, and then from there you can just go /potato mode.
oh, okay. So let me see if I can connect to my remote machine because it somehow needs to do a reauth of some sort. I think I don't know how that is going to work, but like we'll see how we can do that because I want to get that going here because I think this would be very useful because there's a lot of folks who
But
want to
before
get
you
this
do,
set up. Yeah.
go to settings
Uh-huh.
and then
Providers.
go to providers and click on your Hono box in the top right.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Turn Claude Code off and turn it back on again.
Okay. Authenticated. Okay. So it should
Try
come back
that.
up.
Sometimes it re-authenticates itself. Sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
But you don't need to use your screen share. Just use the terminal.
Let's see.
Is it still saying it needs auth?
Yeah. So I could just do terminal here.
So yeah, and just type Claude because you're on your Hono box. You're on your Mac.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool. I'm in, right?
Yeah, do /login.
Login with subscription. Okay. Let me just kind of,
Yeah,
just in case. I don't know what's going to happen. Okay. Opening a browser URL to log in. Paste code here. So then I just grab the URL that's currently listed here, and that way people can log into my account. Okay. So I got it. So what I'm doing right now is basically within here, I just basically can, oh, it doesn't let me copy. Oh, there's a bug.
Should do. Hold command and click it.
Okay, let me see. Maybe that's it. Yeah. Okay, I think that's what it is. Log in. Dang. So is Anthropic fairly strict about this type of stuff for the logging in of things, the credentials?
They were, but for the last month and a half, I think they've relaxed it because everybody seems to be jumping ship to GPT.
Oh, I see. So then here, paste here, prompted, hold shift while selecting your, okay. Okay, let me see if I logged in. Logged in, press enter to continue. Okay, so now I press the enter key. Let me quit this, confirm. Let me just rerun this here. Confirm, and then let me just get rid of some other things just so I don't accidentally expose things. Okay, so here we are. I think we're so back. Let's see. Let me just copy and start a new thread. Okay, so new thread on main. We're going to select Opus 5. I don't think I even need high. I'm just going to do low this. Thinking. Okay, cool. So awesome. So what we're going to do now is basically go through PStack. So PStack, cursor, PStack.
I mean, there's an open source alternative which has already had the models updated for not cursor. So it literally allows it to be used in Codex CLI. Probably the easiest way to get PStack fully working the way it's intended.
Okay. PStack, open source. Is this the one that I linked in the GitHub?
It is.
Okay. Is it this guy? I think I forget.
Yeah, he forked it.
Did he fork it? Okay. Let me go to the Discord. Did I put it in Discord or did I put it in school?
I think you put it in both.
Okay. PStack. Oh, I don't think Discord. Okay. Let's see. Is it in general? Let's see. Yeah, let me go ahead and get that. Oh, you know what? I think it's on X too, right? Let's see. PStack, open PStack, I think is what's called. PStack for Codex. I think this is it. Yeah, this is this guy. Perfect. All right, let me put this in the chat because I know people are interested in this as well. Cool. Gaudissimo, how's it going? Thank you so much. Okay, cool. All right, cool. So what we're doing now is basically what we're going to get is open PStack. So we're going to get install this because this works for Claude Code and Codex. And this is basically what I like to do for my orchestration. And so for those who aren't familiar with PStack, potato mode is something that will allow you to basically architect, do test-driven development, interrogation, and so forth. And what's nice about it is like this whole loop is really, really great. If you use it inside of Cursor's infrastructure, it will set up this file that will then tell it what models to use and what configurations. And so here, what we'll have to probably do is set up PStack for Codex and Claude Code so that the right models are selected and figure out how we can do the orchestration here between the different providers. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to just copy paste this and give it to Opus and probably just do a whole different thing. So yeah, now it installed some newer skills for Waves. Now it has my latest Waves stuff. 2 caveats worth flagging. I discarded the backup tarball. The README says the intended install passes your copies and manual drop, so don't self-update. Be a plugin. Run that command interactive session. Okay, so I'm just going to create a new session, new thread on main. Okay, so I should just do Opus probably high. I think install, and set up PStack. Open PStack.
Yeah, but if you tell it
I am
that you're
using T3 code, and in T3 code, I'm running Claude Opus 5 high as my current chat window, but I'd like to be able to orchestrate across the different models. So I have the Claude models available and also have the Codex models available. And we'll have to make sure that that setup is accessible through T3 code when you do the setup. And as of now, you'll have to just check that everything is installed and set up so that you can test it out as well. So please go ahead and check this repo out and get it set up for me. Thank you. I like talking to it like, oh, I'm going through the drive-through right now, right? So it's like, set this up, set it go. Okay, cool. So right now, I'm going to set up OpenPStack. I'll start by running and understand what OpenPStack is. So RMRF, bro. No way. No. Yeah, I always kind of like freak out when I see RMRF. I'm like, should I be doing that? Yeah. Okay. So here we go. Okay. So that's awesome. Oh, Omarchi.
I have my own.
Do you have
I have
Omarchi
my
installed?
own personal. Omarchi is a brilliant operating system. Big fan.
Dude, I'm this close to buying a framework laptop, but I didn't realize the memory crisis was so bad. So the price of my laptop configuration was going to come to $4,000. And so at that point, it's like, why don't I just buy a MacBook or just buy like a folding phone, a MacBook, and like a Mac Studio, you know? You know, I don't know. Like, we'll see. Like, yeah. All right. So, okay, for those who are wondering, we're basically getting, so does this tell me my usage for tokens as well? Dang. Okay. So this is how much.
Yeah, but look, it also tells you how much of your tokens were cached. So it gives you your cache rate, so you know if your prompts are good, because if you've got good prompting, your cache rate's high, which means your token usage is low.
I see. Damn, GPT Soul is an expensive model. Holy smokes. Same with Opus.
Yep.
Wow. I've already have $109 in cash savings. Ladies and gentlemen, I have $109 in cash savings if you sign up today with the coupon code Ray Fernando. That's crazy though. Yo, this is crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
God. Okay, bro, you're gonna set me up. So what's your cost? You said you've saved. That's how you came up with the cost of $12,000 that you've used in the last couple of days?
7 days.
7 days.
Well, 3 days. It says 7 days, but I only installed it like properly and started using it like 3 days ago.
Oh my God, bro. This is crazy. Okay. So now it's going to do its thing. It's going to set it up. External code works from T3 code. So this is just trying to figure itself out over here using my Claude Opus sub. For those who are just tuning in right now, what we're doing is we're getting this thing called T3 code. And so I can have this system set up on basically all of my machines. And I can see into all of them basically from my phone. And the whole goal of this is to touch as much grass as possible, just to be away from my machines and not have to worry about like being the overlord of things and kind of moving prompts along. And so where the things really start to scale and kind of get a little more into like another zone is like, how do you set up a system that can automate a lot of the software development pipeline? Because it's one thing to prompt, but I don't want to be a prompt monkey punching in things and running the whole thing all by myself. I'd rather just kind of fan that out to a smart thing. And luckily there is a thing called PStack from Lauren. And Lauren, for those who don't know, Lauren Tan works at Cursor. She previously used to work at Meta, and she also used to work at Netflix. She's also on the React compiler. I think she maintains the React compiler as well. So this is a pretty experienced developer. I would say like 100x cracked. Like it's pretty S tier. Not pretty, like definitely S tier development. So this is an encoded workflow that she's shared to make a lot of her processes a lot easier. And what's really amazing about that is that we get that basically for free. The skill that she shared was basically, if you look it up, it's called PStack. And so that's currently available and you can use it inside of Cursor. But the problem is not everyone has, Cursor access, and everyone has stuff inside of Claude Code or inside of Codex. So the bonus here is that you can actually have an open version of one. And this is from Eric Lippman. So he basically made an open source version of this and said, hey, I want to take this and fork it and basically make an open source version of it. And that's kind of what we're installing here. Because Codex and Claude have different ways of having the skill arranged, and there's just different configurations from which that you need to enable for the skill to be successful, and then has to go through its own setup so it can set up everything that it's working. So as far as skills and kind of what's encoded in here, this is a really high level overview of, architecture, test-driven development, interrogation. And like I can punch you into the skill and kind of show you a little bit more of kind of what's really going on here. So like if we go to, I think it's under PStack. If we go to skills, these are all the different skills that are available inside of PStack. So we have everything from like interrogate, get PR comments, and so forth. Everything that, bro, create verification skill and so forth. So one of the skills that you'll first want to run is the setup PStack. But then from then on forward, you pretty much will just use a thing called potato mode. And so potato mode will basically run and try to figure out what is the thing that needs to kick off in your pipeline for what you need to do. So like whether it's just setting up architecture, fixing a bug, figuring out what it needs to do. And then from there, it'll, figure out what step it's in, the agents, and it'll just launch either the agents to do that stuff for you. So it's totally has instructions for autonomy, as you can see, just do it, always, pause, session overrides and stuff like that. And tells it what to do with sub-agents as well. So these instructions are encoded that way from Lauren, and she also has these things for playbooks. And so if you investigate any of these playbooks, these are like a lot of things that you would have to have in your arsenal of things to really just kind of not really look at the process. But if you want to definitely take a look at that, you can learn a lot about prompt engineering and how to do, set up some of these files to do the work for you. And you could even modify it for your own needs as well. But this is how she encodes this, and this has been really widely popular. I must say that the output that I get from my code is a lot higher, and I've even been able to code using my Grok bots this way. So that's just really amazing that I just message my Grok bots and it grabs the potato skill. Another thing that you want to use as far as a playbook that most people haven't really talked about very much in the playbooks itself, but if you do slash, there's one that will actually tell it to not autopilot. So autopilot is another good one that's really cool. So you can just say land everything on autopilot, and that will merge everything to main, including testing, looking at PRs, looking at the comments, and fixing itself, which is insane. But there's another one in here. Another one. Where is it? References, scripts. Oops. No. Okay. References, skill. Where is the skill? Oh man, I just had it right here. PStack, agents, hooks, skills. And automate me, I think. Yes. So automate me is a really important one if you're basically have a testing flow for which you do things. So it says capture my preferences or working style into a skill and want the agents to follow how the user works. So this is really, really important. If you're actually doing like user testing, you just tell automate me and just give it a guided flow for what you do. And then this will encode it into a skill. And then your agents with potato mode will then start picking up that encoded skill as part of the automation process. So this is kind of meta, but this is super important, especially you want to ensure high quality output, especially for things that are like really specific to what you're doing, and it'll just start picking it up from then on forward. So this also references unslop, by the way. So unslop is like a really great way to remove tons of comments. If you're ever using Fable and coding with Fable, it loves to write comments and loves to write like multi-step things. That pass there will pretty much take care of a lot of things, but there's so much good sauce in these things. I mean, there's just, I don't know. There's like, there's too much good stuff, So I would definitely say, definitely use this. And I'm really glad that we're going to get the setup here. So as of now, where are we at with this skill? So it installed it, tested end to end with a session here. So now it can run the PStack runner. And then one deviation, as you know, setup PStack wants 4 model families. So that's Fable, Soul, Grok, Opus, and hard fails without writing any probe prompts. So I wrote pstack models.md. So, and hand it with a 3-family panel included from Claude MD in the PStack models. So we wrote its own Claude PStack models here because Claude is going to be the one that's orchestrating. So for feature fixing, we're going to use Claude Opus 5 on X high. And then for bug fixes, we're going to use GPT 5.6 Soul. So within T3 code right now, for those who are following along, I just have to select my Claude Opus and tell it to use potato mode or PStack. And then it's going to automatically, on my Mac Mini, select the right models and stuff. So it's going to select codecs for doing bug fixes. It's going to select any stuff for Fable, for judgment, and these hard tasks. And then whenever there's a panel, like it needs to agree on something or do some interrogation or architecture plan, it's going to launch 3 different agents, Fable Max, Soul Max, and Opus X High for those types of tasks. And then if there's any reflection stuff, it's going to parent MCP. I don't know exactly what this means. So to use it, all we have to do is /PStack. I don't think we even need to do this, right? We could just say use potato mode and that's it, right? In my task.
Yeah, you can just say use potato mode. But for those of you that are watching, if you have multiple environments, where you went wrong is you only set up your Mac Mini. If you would have said to it, set up all of my connected environments, it'd have set both of them up for you.
So if I tell it that right now, it would do it?
Possibly. It did for
Yeah.
me.
And let's see.
That way, you only have to give it one prompt to install like certain skills, and it'll set it up on every
Bruh,
connected device.
that's crazy. Let's see. Let me find
Yeah,
out
it's
what's
pretty
actually
good.
connected before I touch anything. What? This is cool. Is PStack better than Superpower and Matt Polcock skills? I'd say they're different, right? Like,
I would say the combination of some skills from Matt with PStack gives it extra powers. There's a lot of stuff in Matt's repo that PStack does a lot better, but there's also things in Matt's repo that work really, really well, especially in the planning phase. So he has a really good skill called Grill Me with Docs, which is insanely good for planning. The thing is, when you're using PStack, you can literally say use potato mode and say, here's Matt's repo for this project. Recommend me the skills from his repo that would actually benefit me, and it'll pull out like 5 or 6 skills and say these will be really beneficial, rather than installing all of them.
oh, so you're just like now pulling in the skills so that you don't pollute the
Cherry picking.
context. Ah,
Because
dang.
skills can be global or project. So you can literally define skills per project as well as a global style. So for
That's
example, if you've
genius.
got a Swift app, you don't really want TypeScript best practices. You don't need TypeScript based skills, but
Right.
you do need a shed ton of Swift skills. So you can cherry pick based on the project or globally. It's it doesn't really matter, but don't stick to just one set of skills. If you find a skills repo that everybody's shouting about, there's probably a reason for it, but they may have 100 skills and only 5 of them are good. So, but literally, like, superpowers is a good example. There's some really good skills in there, but there's an awful lot of bad ones.
I
So
see.
you just give your agents the link and say, based on all of the projects that I've worked on, right, what skills of here would benefit me, and it'll know that PStack skills are better than this, or these skills could add value, and it'll cherry pick them for you. And then you just verify it and say, yeah, I want this, don't really need that. And away you
Yeah,
go.
Gaudismo says it exactly. Like you basically save tokens by just cherry picking the skills. Yo,
Exactly.
Maria, how's it going? We got some folks from Twitch as well. What's going on? Also, Shad Cian's improved skill works really well with potatoes, so that's an interesting one. I haven't
It
tried that yet.
does. It really does.
Damn, I need to get like caught up a little bit. I feel like I'm a little behind, man. I heard you guys were T3 coding. Yes, in fact, I mean, I should be at the beach. This whole live stream should be just done from the beach now. Like from here on forward, right? Like, I don't think it's so nice, yeah, to be able to do this. So I'm curious, Corialis, because you've tried a lot of things right now, and so cloud agents from Cursor are interesting because, like, if I didn't have another Mac Mini, I could just launch that. But then, like, T3 Code is cool because I just have a phone and a laptop. That's all I need, right? Like, I just go to a cafe with my iPad or something, and I could probably
Yep.
use T3 Code, right?
I built 6 features from Costa. Well, Starbucks, as you guys like. Basically, I was sat in Starbucks and I built 6 features while I was in Starbucks.
That's great. Because once you have the skills, right? Once you have the repo already running on your machine, and then you probably have that deploying to some type of cloud anyways. So then you would check the link on your phone or something, right, to make sure
Yeah,
the feature's working.
usually it deploys to Vercel, but even if you don't use Vercel, you can set up HTTP routing directly from your agents. Can do it all. So you can literally say, for example, my Mac Mini, I want to be able to access the browser on port 3000 from my phone on 4G, and it will set up a local router via Cloudflare. So you've always got a link that you can click.
So
You
that's
don't
from
have to
T3.
rely on cloud.
T3 Code will set that up. Like you can see it inside T3 Code's little browser thing.
Yeah, well, you could do it on your phone. Like you just open Safari, it's just a URL. It's the same way you could do it in Claude Code. It's not a T3 feature. It's just
Got it.
agents are that powerful, and Cloudflare is really, really good. So it will just create you a free URL, basically giving you that whole thing about I mean, let's face it, 90% of people deploy to Vercel anyway.
I see. Whoa. Yeah. That's actually kind of powerful. It's really interesting as far as like how, damn, that's what's up.
It's like building it's basically building a local cloud.
Yo, wait,
There's
Maria is the intern that works for Theo, also top 3 contributor of T3 code. Any feedback would be a godsend. Dude, give
Get
him all the
Pi
feedback right
installed.
now. What's up?
Get Pi. We need Pi.
And what's the other thing that we want on the T3 code? Because like you were going to try to make this remote thing or whatever. Like,
Pi. Just Pi.
just Pi? No, no, come on.
I'd be happy with just Pi.
Don't hold back. We got to give him everything, bro. Like, we got to like, just tell him everything. We need to. We know we need Pi.
The browser itself doesn't allow you to use keychain access.
Okay.
Which is a problem. It needs to be able to use your keychain.
The local keychain,
when you're trying to sign into stuff, both. Because even when like you're trying to log in on the desktop, for example, and you're trying to log into stuff like Google, and it's like use my keychain, you can't use the keychain, and then it's just a nightmare.
Okay, so like because I'm in a SSH session, yeah, because the only way to do that in like remote terminal, you have to do security keychain. I think is it security? Yeah, security unlock keychain. And then once you type in your password, are you able to get that in? Does that do anything for you or?
Not for me, but like it's a problem. Like even if you're doing it on your local, even if you're doing it just on your the actual local Mac that T3 is installed, the browser still has the same issue. It just it doesn't allow you to use the keychain. So that could do with patching.
We definitely need to fix that. Okay. What other thing that we need to do? I think what was the other one? Any connectors that, Pi. What was the other one that we wanted to do? Providers. Grok is in there. Cursor's in there. I think that we had an issue with Claude. The authentication, we had to toggle off and on again on my remote machine. And so that was an interesting one that we had to do there. What else did we have?
ACP. ACP is another priority. Yeah.
Okay.
And if you add the ACP, it gives you basically any model you'd ever want.
Oh, I see.
Pi and ACP.
Got it. Yeah, that's interesting. Maria validated abused codex. Theo should teach. No, what are you saying? What does that mean? ACP is coming shortly, also with cross-provider orchestration. Yeah, because that's what we wanted. That's kind of what we're trying to set up with PStack right now, where the Opus model is trying to orchestrate with the other models. And so,
I got that working with the skill.
Ask your agent, the Julius PR of Orchestrator. There's a ton of things coming on top of the PR. Okay. Sick. What about like, what else? Do you do iOS stuff with this? I'm just curious, Corialis.
A little. I haven't really played with it too much for iOS yet. The one thing I would like is SSE streaming, so I can see like when it's talking to Claude Code, like I can actually see what Claude Code is doing rather than just its final output.
Okay. Pi will be supported first party, but with ACP it will be painless. Okay. Oh wow, that's kind of crazy. So then would it support the forks of Pi, like Oh My Pi and like other folks like Atomic? I was just curious. Yeah.
Via ACP, yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
ACP basically gives you everything.
Yes. Yeah. And that way I would get the status for like even cursor and everything like that. So if I have real-time voice codecs, so enter. Are you able to iOS apps here? I'm just curious. Like, I'm not sure how I would be able to do this on my remote machine.
What are you trying to do?
Well, this is an iOS app, my real-time voice codecs one. And so I think it only supports a browser right now, right? So it shows browser. But like I have some NCPs that will basically run and trigger builds and things. And there's a thing I think called Baguette that will basically be able to sort of punch into a browser. I forget what it needs to do. No, this machine's currently not set up. Okay. It can read-write the code to unblock building, install Xcode from the App Store. I need to reinstall it. Damn it. Yeah, I did an update and it removed it. Okay. Dang it. Okay. Let's see. But ACP will not behave first-party providers. Okay. With our custom wrappers around different harnesses from each. Okay. You can do remote T3 code if you have Xcode MCP set up. Oh, so
That's a good shout.
Xcode MCP, you can do a remote with T3 code if you have Xcode MCP. I'm doing remote iOS builds locally through environments and T3. Okay, this is meta. I have to figure out how to do this. So remote iOS builds locally through environments in T3. So in T3 in your environments, I think, is it integrations, connections? Is it like here, remote environments, and add the MCP so that it builds within itself or something like that? Is that kind of what I'm doing? So then like I issue all the commands over the MCP.
The MCP you'd install to the CLI tools itself. I've done that before, to be fair.
Okay.
And that way it'll just build directly via the MCP.
I don't think we have any issues with the UI, right? Like,
the only issue I've got, which I think is a bug, but it's only started happening since the last update, is sometimes when you get a little pop-up that says Claude Code needs updating or Codex needs updating, and you click update, but it doesn't do anything.
Oh, okay. That's a good one. Yeah. I mean, as of so far, it's like, it's pretty clean. It's very like intuitive. Like, I don't feel like, this is my first look at it. So it's like, oh, it's like, I haven't really had any issues. It's been very, very pleasant to use. I don't like, it's just I feel for me, it feels like a clean version of, like I said, like it's a baby cursor. Yeah. You'd need to configure it via
Claude
I
like
and
it.
such. Okay. Yeah. I have M5, but I also have M1, both T3, for trigger a build that occurs on the M1 and control through M5 Mac. So this is where it gets meta, because now you have machines controlling other machines.
It's just the Xcode MCP.
Yeah.
You can trigger it from your phone.
Yeah. This is interesting. Yeah. Actions. This is really,
Just
really
remember,
cool.
if you have multiple environments, just tell it that you have multiple environments in T3, and to ensure that the MCP is set up on all of them, or the skills are set up on all of them, etc. And it'll just do it for you. It's really good.
Yeah, it's not really different than doing an SSH in a machine and build. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Add some uses with the copy clipboard button and the web T3 code, but I'm not sure if it's already been fixed. Okay. Also, you can use T3 code by tailscale, so you don't need to use our T3 Connect stuff. But I think
that's what I use.
You said it's a better connection with T3, or is it better with?
It is. It's better with T3 in terms of the speed that it responds, because with tailscale, for example, if you with tailscale, you'll have it up on your laptop, and then if you put it up on your phone, tailscale doesn't like multiple connections through the same port, so one of them tends to lag out.
That's right. Yes, I forgot about that.
That's a tailscale issue, though. It's not a T3 issue.
Right.
But I have 9 devices in total that are all connected in my T3. So I have my main 3 via T3 Connect, and the rest of them I've got via tailscale.
I see. Okay, because they're just doing other stuff, like they're fanning out. Got it.
Yeah.
Can I connect this to Grok Bot? Because I just want my Grok Bot to talk to T3 and just have the work done. You know what I mean? Like, that's because it's going to be use my sub. That's it. Like, that's all I want.
I haven't tested it yet.
Maria,
that's
please.
A Maria question.
Can you do Grok Bot? Like, I mean, I'll drive you to the cursor, the Space Edge HQ, and like sit down with you guys and like, we need this like ASAP. You know what I mean? We're trying to bump the free limit to 5 machines. Oh, is there a paid limit too? That's cool. I need to get on that. Yeah, that was my thought, right?
I think that's something to do with Cloudflare, because I think Cloudflare only has 3 free devices.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Go to providers tab and it has a connector. Wait. What's going on? A nice feature would be adding a mic to the T3 code so that you can just speak to your prompt too without, I already do that myself. Yeah, so like we just like have a microphone and run a local model or something. Yeah. Okay. We don't have a paid tier, only free. Okay, I thought so. Yeah, it's like I didn't see any plans for doing that. Okay, cool. Awesome. Yeah, Maria's been amazing. Just like, we should just let you come on the stream. I'd love to just kind of interview you. That is so cool. But this has been super helpful. And so I think, yeah, so far like the IDE experience has been really like smooth. I love this view of seeing how much tokens you've burned. It just kind of reminds you how much money you do save by uh, sticking with T3 for car insurance. Yeah. Let's see. We think people should use Whisperflow or local voice model alternatives since that's more of your system issue. I think that makes sense. Yeah, because now they start to introduce bloat and then maintaining the different code that they have for voice. But yeah, I can see that. Oh, I think what could work well is like a plugin system for bring your own voice, because that could be cool. Like a lot of people want to like. I'd love to just bring my local model or something in, or just I don't know. Maybe it's just overcomplicating it, but I agree. Like being opinionated is okay. Cursor opens over SSH, needs your key on Honu. Okay. Whoa. So if I click this, this will open Cursor and it would open the remote session for that machine. And so that way I can just like use my IDE and Cursor over SSH. And this is using the T3 code SSH setup or whatever that's doing, right? For the
T3 Connect.
T3 Connect, yeah. Oh, that's pretty nice. That's super nice, actually. So that way you can see files and file system stuff. So I know some people want to see files, like because right now in this chat, like I can't necessarily see the files unless I go into here. I think
Yeah,
it's the same thing, right? Yeah. Oh, it's the same thing. Oh, well, here we go. We're good.
And then click on one, and it'll give you. It's literally like a mini IDE. It's really good.
That's ridiculous. Yeah, because that's easier than the terminal sometimes. But yeah, who looks at code anymore, bro? This is so passe. This is so 2025, bro. Like looking at code.
I don't know, man. I'm a NeoVim fan, so
I know.
I like my terminal.
I love looking at code too. Actually, code tells me everything of what's going on. I could tell the sniffs. I was like, this doesn't look right. What are you doing?
That's the one thing I do wish they had, which was that live SSE streaming, so you can literally see what the model's coming, the harness like Claude Code is actually coming back with, purely so you can kind of see when the agents are going to drift.
No way. So I can even see my QA runs? Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what? Let me cook. Let's go. Yo, this is ridiculous.
Has its own
and it has,
little
oh,
editor.
wow, look how buttery smooth this is. Come on, bro. This is ridiculous. Y'all cooked. Yeah. T3 code cooks. Holy smokes.
Yep.
Let's go. Damn. And look at this. This is noise. Can I select my, like I want this to be Xcode theme? Because like this is kind of what I like to use. Let's see. Is there like an actual...
They have a dark mode.
Where's appearance? Yeah, system light dark, T3 code.
Yeah, but then those little colors are like light and dark. So how you can select which color scheme you want.
You know what I want? I want to like a create theme with like an AI and say, can you just do the Xcode theme, and it just sets it up for me. That'd be fire.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, because advanced. What do we have here? Yeah, I just want to just tell it create the Xcode theme and just do that. I'm pretty sure this is like a config file somewhere that's on disk, right? I would think. Yeah,
I would assume so.
Okay. But like, I'm not really looking at code. This is just like, that's a, like, don't even work on that feature and waste your tokens on that. Because like, yeah, if I do punch in, it would probably be something like this in Cursor. I say yes. And then like, this is where I'll look at my files. I said yes, I think so. Okay, I don't know. Yeah, that's what's up. All right, so that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, but themes are available, and you can add themes from VS Code too. Okay, that's cool. Click and search for it. Nice. Probably come up with the orchestrator again. That would be add powerful T3 code MCP that controls the whole app. That would cool. Yes, because that's what I want. The orchestrator part with the MCP is going to be like the secret to like getting my Grok Bot to just control the app, right? That's all I want. I was like, go spin up the project, go do the thing, go test it, and then come back to me with stuff. And then the idea would be the MCP to how to agents interact with. Yeah, just like how Codex the app does. Exactly. Yes, exactly. Yeah, because that's the dream goal. It's like OpenClaw, Hermes, or Grok Bot will literally just control T3 code and just tell it what to do. It's like, you are the coding god. You're going to figure that out, and come back to me only when it's done, But the joy of Grok Bot has been for me is like I spin up multiple Grok Bots and they're all working in one project. So like, let me just kind of show you that setup real quick and just kind of, this is why I'm enjoying Cursor Cloud, because this is just really, really cool. So For example, like one of my apps like Clippy, right? So with Clippy, I have a lot of stuff that's going on. I don't really use the computer that's on there for this. All it's doing right now is just driving changes to ship to the app. Like Ray Transcribes is a really good one too. So like all of this stuff has just been like, here is a bug, go fix it. You know, here's an issue with like something here that leaked or something like that. Go fix it. And then it just talks to the other bots about what needs to happen. And then they, you know, get all the instructions and then they then go fix the stuff, right? So like this is my CI/CD pipeline. You see, like 0 alerts to me. All of these messages, like hundreds of messages, have not involved me at all. You know, my direct responsible bot has just been talking to it and making sure that, you know, out of all the PRs that are in there, that they get lined up. So like, you know, within minutes, I have boom, boom, PR, all the stuff that's being, you know, like I'm literally just doing architecture review for, you know, ideas in just the chat. So, you know, this would just be like, what would be fire is like if I get a little card like this inside of my Grok bot that shows me the state and status of certain runs. That would be so amazing. And that would be so cool. Like if the Grok bot team teamed up with you guys from T3 Code to kind of provide this really like, you know, interesting interactive experience. The only reason why I want a card is because it just involves PRs. And then I think my feedback for the Grok bot team would be like, because I'm doing this workflow, I'd love to be able to filter with card types. So in shipping software, I have these types of cards that I use. So I just want to review to make sure that things got pushed through or that they're followed up on. And then for like my health stuff, I want to build a card for this right now. I had to build this in text, but I would ideally have the agent generate a card. Similar to the way like ShadCN has primitives for sheets and popovers and things, like give Grokbot like message primitives to have interactive objects that can, you know, display information in a much more rich fashion. So that would be cool because then that would make the T3 code plus a Grok bot like super amazing. But you can't do that type of primitives with like, you know, Telegram, right? Because like they're not going to be able to ship that. But you can do a lot there. So I think this is a really interesting idea, especially if you have like ones that manage inboxes. You can do a lot of cool stuff with like an email inbox and a list view just from a card. You could do a lot of cool stuff like sending drafts. I don't know. This is me thinking out loud. It's just like my wish list of things. But I feel like if Maria's listening and has some type of inspiration, please run with that as much as possible. And, you know, just like go all the way touchdown, you know, make it happen. So I have yet to try Grokbot. How is it? It is so damn fun and addicting because all you do is just hit the new button, give it a roll, and then tell it to go. And they spin up. You don't have to think about concepts of skills. You don't have to think about what model is running. You don't have to think about, you just give it human language stuff and it just really works really well. So I think this is really cool. I do want to add something similar to what Joki T3 work that support themes in OpenClaw. How do you talk with Hermes and such and manage whole 3.3 and such? Yeah. So the agents themselves that I'm talking to are the ones that are kind of dealing with all the memory. They're just spitting out instructions to whatever MCP that's connected to get the work done. So I think this is really interesting. Honestly, wrapping Hermes bots in this UI feels like a move. Okay. Ray likes Grokbot a bit. He really liked Grok Pill at the moment. It's like one of the most minimalistic UIs to interact with agents without having to worry about memory, context, compaction, any other stuff. And I think that's been really fun. So yeah, I mean, as of now, for people who want to know my current Grokbot situation, I have receipts. I literally just give it receipts. I have a business inbox that I have stuff in for my life. I have projects. Projects are all my coding projects and side projects I have. I spin up a new one whenever I do something. Usually I'll take an existing DRA and say, hey, go ahead and set up my new project and we're going to track this in the same way. And it just spins up, you know, whatever bots it needs to track the project. And then I just put it into that folder. I have ones that run events. I have one for the whole like Arts Los Altos, which is a nonprofit. And so this is like acting like a chief of staff and then making sure that when donations come in, that people are assigned and they have the right thank yous and we know who donated from who or whatever. Those are the biggest ones that I have right now that are grouped in my life. So it's like code projects plus health. And then the chief of staff is the one that actually, it's kind of funny. I just give it links to like different things saying, make a draft for this post and it posts to my school. So I have a free school community and it actually generates posts. Or I tell it something about like a YouTube video that I'm going to launch, and then it starts to write the post for it, and then like tells it to put it at 7 a.m., which is when I was going to publish it and so forth. So, there's a lot of things that I have my hand over to my chief of staff in terms of like research or like groceries or things that I want to keep track of. And then it'll talk to the other guys to like, for like the recomposition things and so forth. So yeah, a lot of cool stuff
I
here.
have
I mean,
mine.
yeah.
I have mine connected to Microsoft Teams, and it literally it handles all of the people that message me on Teams. It does it all for me. People will come and say, like, can I have this feature, or can we update this and that? And I don't think I've actually looked at my Teams in about 2 weeks, because Grok Bot just does it. It answers them. It builds the feature. It goes back and tells them it's done. It's a good piece of kit.
That's awesome. Maria, thank you so much for tuning into the stream. I appreciate the feedback for you as well, and like you coming on the stream and taking a listen. I think that's really, really nice that you're, online and kind of stop on by. That's really fun that you're able to do that. So, yeah, huge shout outs, and definitely appreciate you doing that as well. The beta says, how do you handle very long Grokbot sessions, especially chief of staff eating my usage quite a bit? Their compaction does seem to work very well. I don't think about them as sessions. I just think about them as concerns. So the way I think about things is, like, I'm starting to do a lot of stuff around health and ask a lot of health questions. I just tell it to spin up something to keep track of my health. And then you have a couple of options. I tend to like think of my life as like a boardroom meeting. So in a boardroom meeting, you want to have people who are responsible for different parts of your life. So in the boardroom, you want to bring people who can help you in your life in general. So like if you want to have someone who helps you with your health, you're probably going to hire and find someone to do that for health. And then the health guy is not going to be your chef. He's not going to be your nutritionist. He's not going to be at the gym every day. Maybe he's just a general advisor. And then you ask to then get specific things that you're on. So like maybe you're not hitting the gym yet as frequently, but you're focused on the nutrition part. So then have them spin up the nutrition side of things. So the nutritionist will help you with, and then those are the ones that kind of talk to each other and exchange information about your goals. So like you can kind of see how this starts to fan out a little bit, but this is just a kind of a simple idea, but just keep it really simple. Like, just think of things in like threes, like multiples of threes. So you'll have like three of your closest friends. What are they, what would they help you out with in your life? Health, wealth, and relationships. So just have a category for health, have a category for wealth, have a category for relationships. And relationships is what I call life, so that's friends, family, all that other stuff that you want to do. And so this is the way you maybe want to categorize your bots. And so whenever stuff is related to, relationships or something like that, and health and like going out or dinners and things like that, you will do that. Health related things, you'll keep a category for that. So what's cool is you can group things into, this is move to, and you can move them into like health, life, or whatever you're doing. I tends to have stuff in like a general project. And once a project gets really big, like my transcription app, there's like a pipeline, there's other things, I then start to group it as a name. So this has its own name here. So like that's how it's easier to find. But then when you collapse them, now it's easier to kind of scroll through and then kind of get closer to what you want to be looking for. So if I'm focused on a specific area, for example, like Arts Los Altos, I'll expand that out. And this is just kind of be what I'm like focused on or working for the day. And this is just, what I'm popping in and out of. But mostly I'm just spending time up here, catch me up on what's going on. And then all of a sudden, it catches me up on whatever is going on. So I think that's just the way that I sort of organize in my Grok bots right now. And that helps with the context window, because now each of them are kind of set up with separate concerns, and they're not having to think back through many conversations even several days ago about specific topics. But it makes them more enriched when you do include them in group chats or tell them to talk to each other, because they have separate personalities, or they start to develop separate personalities to keep track of things in a funny way. It's weird. It's so weird. It's like they do develop their own personality when you give them more responsibilities for certain areas. So it's hard to explain, but that's just kind of natural, which is nice, because I didn't have to inject the soul file. I didn't have to say, now behave this way, or, change your behavior or something like that. I don't know. This is kind of the way I was thinking about it, but have you been Grok pilled yet?
No. Not yet.
So you got the cursor, you got the Grok heavy plan, the $300 a month plan, and then you had a window where you're able to get the free cursor account included or something as a part of one of the
cursor accounts. I've got the cursor account that I actually pay for, and then I've got the one that I got free when I got the $300 subscription from Supergrok.
That's crazy. That's a
So
crazy
if Lauren
promo.
is watching, I'll happily take a third account.
Let's go. Yeah. Yeah. No, this is really
I
fun.
do want to experiment a bit more with Grok Bot. I want to try and create a local SQLite database for it to store all its chat history in. So kind of giving it its own semantic memory. It's a little experiment I want to play around with.
Yeah. Yeah. Rob says he's kind of upset that they killed that little promo for. Yeah, I think they
Yeah,
killed
they
a
did.
lot of these promos. I don't know if they were expecting it to go like mega like viral like the way it is, but it is very helpful. And I think everyone who got up on that, I think people who have been around the cycles as well, like to get on that right away because it's like these types of things go away really, really fast. So yeah, I don't know. I'm really curious. Also curious to see like what models do you tend to go to? I think we were talking a little bit about, what's your go-to open model right now? And then like what are some of your other models as well?
For me personally, like Opus 5 High is my kind of thinking model. So my planning model, my orchestration model, my implementations are and kind of not stuff that doesn't really need a lot of thought is Grok. It literally does 90% of my work. And GPT for kind of bug fixing or cross evaluating Opus. So Opus will create a plan and then GPT will validate that plan. They'll kind of have a chat between themselves, come up with a better plan. That's basically my model. And then I have, believe it or not, I use Gemini 3.7 Flash
Oh,
to do PR reviews because it's very, very good at PR reviews.
okay. Okay. You're probably one of the first people I've heard bring that model out of their mouth.
I know. It surprised me. I did it by accident. I meant to actually put my PRs, but I meant to do the PR reviews with Grok. And I was talking into Whisperflow at the time, and my little girl shouted like Gemini because it was the name of some little My Pony or something on the telly. So Whisperflow picked it up. So it set my PR review as Gemini 3.7 Flash. And
Bruh.
when it did the PR review, I was like, damn, that's actually quite good.
Hold
So
up. Hold up. Gemini.
yeah,
Okay. Okay. Damn. Damn.
completely by accident, but it did like after about 50 PRs and reading the reviews it did and the bugs that it found that both GPT Sol, Grok, and Cursor Bug Bot missed, I was kind of like, wow, okay, that's pretty good.
So that context
So
window, dang, no one talks about that right now. Okay, if you're listening right now, you got extreme alpha. I'm about to go try this right now. So, and then like it's basically free. Are you using it inside of Cursor then? Because I think does Cursor have that
yeah,
flash? Yeah.
yep. So my Cursor CLI via obviously T3 code at the minute. It
Oh,
literally, that's what I use. That's the only thing I use Gemini models for. But like I said, that was an accidental discovery, and it does do a pretty decent job.
let's go. Yeah, because I mean, compared to the context window, I was using Grok, but it only has 100 something thousand context window. But for a big PR, Gemini has 1 million, right? So it's like easy. It's
Yep.
like, oh,
I
holy
don't know whether
smokes.
that's because of the CI/CD pipeline I've got or what, but it seemed to do the best PR reviews, and
Okay.
I was extremely surprised because if somebody would have told me that, I would have gone, not a chance. Like I gave
Wow.
up on Gemini before it like once 3.0 came out, and I've never gone back. So
That's
I
right.
was quite surprised.
Dang. So how do you then orchestrate your agents, right? Because you have a little bit more of an advanced workflow for doing stuff in skill files.
Yeah.
Do we want to cover
So
that
I have
today,
a
or is that
skills. Yeah, you can do. I mean, I have a skills
okay?
repo that I built around kind of no matter what environment I go into, I can just replicate the same skill set, which I think I dropped it in the chat earlier.
Yeah.
There's a
Let me
skill in
grab this
there
real
called
quick.
Lee Engineering, which basically defines how I want the AI to work.
Okay.
It basically goes, what models have I currently got access to and what's not usage capped? and then it'll route everything based on Grok 4.6 being the main implementation, Opus doing the orchestration, stuff like that. It instills all the coding principles that I want, all the engineering practices that I want, all that. It just encodes them all inside my Lee engineering skill. So kind of like how you do /potato mode, I just do /Lee engineering, and that's it.
Oh,
Like the skill then automatically routes everything based on what kind of usage I've currently got across whatever tools I've got available at that time. So if I'm using
whoa.
something like Pi, it'll go, okay, what's Claude got? What's GPT got? What's Codex got? What, it just kind of goes through and it balances. So it'll use something until it's got nothing left.
Wow. And like sure, your model routing would use local model multi-engineering routing context. So this is basically for like local, if you're having multiple models, you can basically, as a coordinator, supervisor, a worker, a self-hosted model. You have a self-hosted model too.
I do.
What do you use for that?
I use a few. Quen 20, I use Quen 3.8 purely because I like playing around with local models. I do use it quite a lot for very light tasks that I don't really want to pay any tokens for. So if I'm like writing a PR, for example, I don't get Claude to write the PR documentation or any documentation at all. There's no point. Why should I waste 1 million tokens writing a big PR documentation? I just give that to Quen and let Quen do it.
Wow.
Stuff like large code base reads, again, I give that to a local model because it will just do, and it does it in kind of small iterations, and then it creates a summary file. So it's like summary.md, summary2.md, summary3.md. It just writes all the more, and then the large model just reads the summaries, which gives it the complete context of a mass 6 million line code base.
Oh, wow.
But it saves an awful lot on token usage without compromising anything at all, because it's just code reads or it's just
I have a
writing up a
DGX
document.
Spark. So if I set up my Spark and then do the T3 connect, and then I tell it to use the Spark because it's running the model at this URL, it's on Tailscale anyways. I could say, this is running DeepSeek /v4. Can you help me figure out what role? Huh?
Another model I use, DeepSeek v4.
Yes. Like what model would
very,
work best?
very smart model. It's good for research.
Whoa. So I can just have it do that, and then it would just basically figure out what model family it could fit in for what specific task. And then
so it's dynamic.
Oh, because this is basically the informed hypothesis right now for the current ones. You have Gemini for multimodal work. Yeah, I forgot about multimodal for Gemini too. Yes. So by combining that plus the cursor composer for this too. Yeah, because you already have a cursor plan, but if you don't have a cursor plan, you can use, there's a lot of different varieties here that you can go. Wow.
Yeah, that's the point. It's about as dynamic as I can make it. So it kind of factors in what models do I have, and it pinpoints a couple of things that some models are very good at and some models are not so good at, which helps with the model routing based on the task that it's going to orchestrate.
Have you used the Graphify from what Null Profits is saying?
No.
You can do a semantic pass with the local model on top of AST2. What is this?
Yeah.
Hold up.
Yeah, you can.
Graphify. GitHub. It's probably here. Turn any code base with its docs. Wait, hold on. This is probably what you want. SQL schemas, configs, and PDFs into a queryable knowledge graph. And we could just use as local deterministic AST parsing. Every edge is explained. Okay.
I've got something similar, but not as a package. I have a local vector database that literally stores everything I've ever built. So my local agents have my local Quen and kind of DeepSeek and stuff like that. They have complete knowledge at any point and can reference any one of my code bases from within my machine. Like it's all, I have a PG vector set up. Okay. This though could be extremely useful. I'll check this out.
Yeah. So does this mean that like you have to pay for it, or can you just run this all locally? I'm just really curious. Graphify. Interesting. 3 hops. Like, I feel like you can do this all in memory, right? Interesting.
You can, but
Abstract
like
thinking.
if you're
Yeah.
talking like a 610, if you're looking at like a 6 million, 10 million line code base, you're not doing that in memory, not even with 1 million context.
It gives you both. You can use AST as part. Big expensive models know right where to look without reading code files super fast. So this, like, that's the other thing too, is like, I'm not sure what codex is, what Cursor is doing underneath the hood, if they have a version of this that they've made, because I haven't had any issues searching even with their smaller models, like finding stuff in code bases. And yeah, I really don't know. Like, I haven't really had a problem of it. Like,
Finding stuff isn't really finding stuff within a code base isn't really a challenge,
yeah,
right?
it's like
But
refactoring though. Like,
if you
yeah.
it's more like, for example, if you said, let's take let's just take for UX Apple, right? So
Hmm.
let's just say, for example, you wanted to find all code that relates to OTA, over the air updates,
Hmm.
right? That's going to be about 15 to 20 million lines of code that
Facts.
you then want it to summarize. It's not going to be able to read all of that and summarize it in a single memory bound, right? Which for most people, that's never going to be a problem, because most apps are these days are web apps or Swift apps, and they're less than 1 million lines of code for the entire thing.
Yeah.
But like when
But
you've
if
got
it
big
talks to a
production apps,
compiler, there's a lot of stuff that you can get for free.
true.
You know, like, you don't necessarily need to do this custom mapping, and then you would be able to just get like all these
It
different,
depends.
yeah, graphs and
I
dependencies and
mean,
things. Yeah.
take the legal system I'm building, right? That's
Yeah.
29 million lines of code so far,
Yeah.
right? And it's not finished. A lot of that code is around kind of, I'd say, harness engineering,
Hmm.
because it defines workflows and executes workflows in specific states.
Mm.
But just the workflow code alone is over 5 million lines of code, just for
Mm.
the like harnessing and enforcing that workflow. So if I give it to an agent like Opus 1 million and tell it to index all of that code to find bugs, it struggles. It has to do it with multiple subagents and then summarize it. And it's about 4 or 5. So it's about 5 million context on its own, which is okay. That's not too bad. But if you scaled that up and it was 5 times bigger, that's when you're going to start getting problems. So on big, massive, large code bases, you are better using something like RAG with like a vector database, because it's instantaneous. It doesn't really need to go searching around and indexing files that it doesn't need to index. It's like, no, go here. These are all the files you want. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. This is interesting. I'll have to talk to the Cursor team because I'm curious on how they're doing their understanding, because they wrote a lot of their own stuff too for their like code base indexing, and even document indexing too. And I'm just really curious what that would look like, because I don't know, like, it just seems like whenever we're running really long sessions, especially refactoring tasks, even on the cloud, it's so good. It like doesn't really
It
miss.
does.
I don't know. I mean, I haven't had that problem. I haven't had to install any like of this stuff, but I'm super curious because, like, yeah, I've been using Cursor. So outside of Cursor, I would think that Claude Code would try to make some of those optimizations, but they only have access to what they can see, if they're not like, I mean, they don't build an index of your code base. Maybe they do. I don't know, or what do they, I know they
No, but
try to hook
Cursor
up the
does.
language server protocol, but like, like that's only one part of the outputs. That's not necessarily like taking a look at everything, and from a, I mean, I feel like this problem has been solved for like way back in the days, with like the original IDEs, like for looking up code back in Java, like,
In all
I don't know.
honesty, the best thing I've ever seen in terms of code base indexing and
Yeah.
never having a problem is a tool that no one uses. It's called Augment Code.
I was gonna say JetBrains. Like JetBrains has some amazing stuff. Yeah.
JetBrains, I use their I actually used the JetBrains IDE.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, I was using that
it's one
before
of my
AI.
favorite.
Yeah, really
It's
good.
one of my favorite IDEs,
Yeah.
but their code indexer is absolutely amazing.
Hmm.
I swear to
Yeah.
God, that Augment Code, they have nailed code indexing, like indexing code bases and like where stuff lives. It's just insanely brilliant.
I like this, like how we're all talking about old technology and stuff. And we forget also that neural nets technically are old too. So yeah, augment code. I think a lot of people said they had like some amazing stuff. Yeah, this is such an interesting thing, man. This is like this hangout's been so cool, dude. It's also like, what time is it in the UK over there?
2 minutes past midnight.
Oh my gosh, yeah. No, I mean, I've just been having fun. For those who
I'm
are
here.
wondering, this is the type of stuff I like to do. Just hang out with my friends on live streams. Today's stream was just kind of chill. Like, I've been talking a lot about cursor code, and like figuring out how to, do this type of stuff outside of, cursor. And like a lot of people have different configs and setups and things. And, I've been hearing a lot about T3, and I was like, let's just get this set up on all my machines. Let's get this going. I want to see how this looks like. And it's like having the user interface is really clean, really responsive on the phone and also on the Mac, and connecting is a breeze. It's just like one click, boom, it's done. I'm pretty blown away with T3 code as far as like just getting it set up for things. I haven't even started to run tasks on it and do different things. And so this is a good alternative for me, like different from an SSH thing, because the problem I had over SSH is like I'm using Termius on my phone and I SSH into my machines. And I have herder set up too. So like the formatting for it's so rough. Like copying and pasting and hitting enter. I'm like, no, I didn't want to hit enter. I just want to hit new line. It is rough.
No,
it is so
right.
rough.
Firstly, if you're going to use SSH on a phone, because there are use cases where you do need to do so,
right?
Don't use Terminus. Use an app called Moshi. It's
Moshi.
literally, Moshi.
Okay, I'm gonna cancel my Termius. Moshi iOS. Oh my god,
it's
free?
by far the most
bro.
polished.
This is ever. Like, look at this. It's following my mouse, bro. This thing is leak.
Yeah. This is what I use, right? So whenever I need a terminal on any remote machine, this is what I personally use.
Bro. Terminals weren't made for phones. Moshi is, oh my god, bro. What? They got themes too? Okay.
Oh,
okay. Yeah. Do these guys get down? Oh my god. See, this is craftsmanship.
I would highly recommend it. I got a load of tool chains.
Dang, bro. Whatever the price is, I'm gonna pay. I don't care. $200 lifetime. Let's go.
To be fair, the free version, you can download it and install it for free, and it works perfectly fine.
No complete terminal, no account required, no credit card, download free. Free to start. Pro when you want to live in it. What does that mean for pro? What do you get for pro?
You wouldn't need pro, mate. You just need free.
Up to pro 3 devices?
Like pro, basically, if you're connecting to like a lot of devices and you want
I want to support good software though. I feel like this is like a single person operation, isn't it?
Probably, but whoever built it is a genius, because it really is the best thing I've ever.
I want to give them money.
It's probably the best app on my phone. So me personally, I do have the $200 lifetime subscription, purely because I use it a lot. It is absolutely amazing.
That's hot.
And
that is.
It connects to Herder by default. So
oh my god,
it's just really good.
Look at how you can scroll. What? Oh, that's so ridiculous. Look at the
Terminus.
My God.
Terminus isn't even in the same league. Like Terminus is like an Android app in comparison to an iPhone app. It's just not the it's not even in the same league.
Paste images too? Oh my god. Get out of here, bro. Get out of here. Improve. What? A diff? Where it has a watch too? Come on, bro. Come on.
Oh yeah, it's got the watch app. It's really good, man.
What? This is craftsmanship.
Yeah, this is
cooking on. Where are you guys? Is lifetime really? Yes, one payment unlocks. This is what I'm all about. I'm all about this lifetime stuff. Damn. That's what I did. Is there regional pricing? Yes, as well. Who are they? Let's see. Can we do about? Where are you guys? What
I don't know. I stumbled across this by mistake. It was something I found a while ago.
They're on X as well? Okay, we need to follow. My guy is Indie Joe. Bro, when you see a face like this, you know it's cracked. Let's go. Glasses and everything with the hat. Let's go. Oh my God.
I
How
would
does this
highly
guy only
recommend
have
it.
3,000 followers? He should have way more. What?
I'm gonna follow him.
Homebrew Moshi? Oh my God. This
Oh
guy
yeah, you can
cooks.
install it through Homebrew. Just brew install Moshi.
No,
I think it is.
I need to support my guy. My guy. Joel?
Just install the app and click install the app. As soon as you load the app, it says, "Do you want to subscribe?" Just press yes. Bang, $200 gone, done.
God, look at this.
Use
So
the
here
app
he
and pay.
is.
It's really good, man.
I've been using Terminal on my phone like a caveman, bro. I had no clue. And this is Herder. That is
Yeah,
so
it connects
beautiful.
to Herder. It connects to Herder by default. It's really, really good. Tmux fully supported. Herder fully supported. It's really, really good.
Bruh. And he keeps improving it every day. Oh my God, come on.
Yeah, I think the last update was yesterday.
Bring your own key dictation. Like you can use your own OpenAI endpoint too.
Oh yes,
Dude, this guy cooks.
it supports Whisperflow too.
I've been an
it's really
IntelliJ user since decades ago. It was the best and it still is. And in many people's hearts. See? My favorite feature is instant switching
IntelliJ
between
Ultimate,
keyboards.
bro. I've got the IntelliJ Ultimate. It's my default. I love the IDE. Unfortunately, I live in a terminal these days, so
Right.
it's.
But that
if I
muscle
need
memory
an
is now
IDE,
back
though,
in the
it
Moshi
is.
app. You can instant switching between
Yes.
recent tabs. What the heck, bro? Wait, Moshi has
It's
a
really
desktop
good.
app?
I've not really played with the desktop app too much yet.
Oh my goodness. Oh, Atari compatibility issues. Okay. It's like Atari app. Oh my gosh, bro.
But the iPhone app is just legendary. There's no other app I would ever use.
Oh, yeah. Right now, I'm just gonna download this. Get Moshi. Get Moshi app. Get Moshi.app. Definitely do that. Damn, this guy is.
You can just get it straight from the App Store. Just type Moshi in the App Store, and it'll download straight from your iPhone.
No, I want to give it straight to him,
is.
bro. I guess that's the only way you
Well.
can get it right now. Yeah. Wow. Oh, if I sign in, maybe if I do get lifetime, then that's kind of where it's acting me to. Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I
I'll
did it
support
through- I
it
did
from the
it for
web. That
Apple
way,
Pay through the
Apple
App
doesn't
Store.
get their 30% cut. Yeah.
30%.
Yes.
Damn.
Yeah. Apple charges you 30. You thought Vercel was bad, bro. The mafia at that fruit stand, they say pay up, bro. You gotta pay rent first thing, bro. They get their check first, and your money stays with them for a month. You don't even get the payout until like a month after. They like roll up all the
Damn.
calculations and everything. They're like, okay, then we'll take our cut, and then like here you go. Oh, and by the way, the next pay period is I don't know how many days. Yeah.
They're not daft.
In the meantime, all that money has been earning interest, in this big stockpile somewhere in Ireland or something, like.
Yeah.
Good times. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Highly recommended.
Okay. Yeah, I got to get the Moshi creator on stream. I think that'd be fire too. So many people got to get on stream. So fire. Man, this has been a really chill stream. I love this whole stream. It's been really awesome, just all the way through. What are your thoughts on like the latest models that just came out with like GLM? Have you had a chance to play with them? The GLM 5.3, Quen, and like.
Okay, the benchmarks put GLM 5.3 above Fable 5, which, given Fable 5's recent performance, is not really that impressive. But 5.3, GLM 5.3, I've only played with it for about 2 hours, but man, can that thing cook.
Okay, are you using it in the harness, or where are you using this?
No, I did it via Pi.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got a lot of custom instructions and custom plugins in Pi that kind of enforce workflows, but damn, it's a good model. I've got to admit.
Qwen 3.8 Flash next.
Very, very good model, and that's what I use for, like I said, document creation, converting Word and PDF documents. It's all done via my Qwen 3.8.
Somebody says Anthropic is cooked, and I actually... Okay, I found out some information in the last 24 hours where it changed my perspective, and now I kind of see the game that's being played. I think what I can say is that in the public's, what we have access to for the public is not the same thing that people get access to behind closed doors. Those are like, crazy government officials and people who do stuff for like the military and so forth, like secret access, whatever. That's probably like the mythos size models. And so what we get as the public is probably something that's mega nerfed. And we're even seeing that again. Before the stream, I was testing Fable, and like it was behaving so horrible. Like emojis in my thing, like there's nothing in my outputs that tell it about doing emojis. I've never seen this before, and it's all of a sudden I'm getting emoji output, and it's like then I just switch over to Opus, and then like all of a sudden like it's just everything's good. So there's a lot of things that can be tweaked about the model that make it not so smart,
There is, but that's why Pi is my favorite harness of all, because the system prompt allows you to tweak these settings. But as it stands currently, if I had to rank all models, my number one would be Opus 5 High.
Yeah.
Just not inside Claude Code.
Yeah.
In Pi.
That part. Yeah, I've been using Opus 5 High outside of Claude Code. It's been phenomenal, actually. And if you have some verifiers that are on the other side of it from a different model, really crazy cool.
So for me, that would be GPT Sol. GPT Sol, well, you saw it in my skill. GPT Sol is my verifier model. Opus is kind of my
orchestrator,
my go-to think orchestrator, and then Grok just goes and cooks whatever Opus tells it to.
And then you got the Gemini 3.7 Flash for that code review. That's the alpha we need to see. Okay, and then someone's like, they want to see your Pi setup. Stay tuned for part 2. It's already past midnight over there.
Yeah,
in the UK. Yeah.
Well, it's not so much the time; it's more the fact that I've got a lot of custom plugins for my Pi that I'm working on, and I'm not 100% happy with yet. But if you want a Pi setup that is insanely good, straight out of the box, look at Oh My Pi. It's good. It cooks.
omd.dev, which is oh my, is it is it om, no, hold on, Oh My Pi, Oh My Pi,
it's Oh My Pi,
Oh My Pi, CAN 1357 omp.sh, I think. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, omp.sh, a coding agent with the IDE wired in. Bro, this is so crazy.
If you want a Pi setup that works really well and includes the Anthropic subscription, get this.
This is hot. This is hot. Yeah.
Install that along with, like, if you install that along with like PStack and whatever skills that you want, you won't go wrong. It's very, 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 very good. So, like, my entire Pi setup is very closely mirrored to OMP.
Is this working in T3 code for you, or how do you launch this?
Not yet.
Oh no, because it's not. You said like, T3 code doesn't support this. This is hopefully Maria
doesn't support Pi yet.
Okay, so hopefully Maria's can get us
wire
in
the
right?
ACP, which will allow this to work.
Okay, I'm gonna install this right now.
But if you want to replicate the T3 setup, right, or something similar, you can do it with Oh My Pi and Tailscale. So if you set up Tailscale on your devices, you can just SSH in
with Moshi
to a herder session, for example,
and
then use Moshi.
Yeah, use Moshi. It's free.
Yep,
but we support good software here, so I did get down with them. Dang, like this guy's cracked.
But yeah,
absolutely cracked. This is crazy. So I just type in OMP.
Yep.
Epic. And then it just basically gets me right in. Sick.
Yeah. And then you click /login, which will give you a list of models to select from.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, really good. The custom modules that are in it are really good. And then I've literally just published a Firecrawl plugin for it. Wow. Because I use Firecrawl for all my searches. So literally there's a plugin in I don't know what it's in GitHub anyway. I'll link it in a minute. Literally, that's my Firecrawl plugin for OMP. Wow. That one I am releasing because that one's pretty much done.
Whoa.
But yeah, It's a very, very good harness.
And you can collaborate. Looks like you could just give someone a link and then they can also see your session at the same time.
Yep.
Bruh. How does it stand that up?
It's honestly, I don't actually know. I've not looked into it. I haven't tried it yet. I know it's a feature, but I haven't tested it yet.
Wow.
Like I said, for me, I've just got. I use it. I've like on my screen right now. I have 3 Oh My Pi windows open, building 3 different things on 3 different machines. So I've got one that's running on my Mac Mini, but I'm SSH'd into it. One that's on this Mac that I'm on right now, and then one that's on my Linux server.
Oh my god, bro. Okay, so between
and then as soon as I finish this, I'm just going to load Moshi.
And then I can even run my DeepSeek. Oh
yeah.
Okay.
It supports everything.
Right. Yeah. So if I go to, I think it's called, let's see, is it called Atom? Atom? No. I have an app that will show me my Apollo. So right now I can connect to my, my DeepSeek. Hopefully it's up. I don't know if it's going to load up right now. It's probably not loading.
What are you using to host DeepSeek?
My Sparks. Two DGX Sparks. Yeah.
Wish I had 2 BGX Sparks.
Well, you have more.
No, I've got 4 Blackwell cards. There's a difference.
There, let's go. Yeah. Okay, cool. So yeah, I'll get to this later. Okay, cool. Damn, this is awesome. This is very distracting. Very, very cool.
Yeah. It also looks really pretty too.
Dang. Okay. So it also has search providers. Let's go.
Yes, but like I said, you can wire in Exa, wire in whatever you want, really. I built a custom Firecrawl plugin because I didn't like their Firecrawl plugin only does search, but the latest Firecrawl API has stuff like deep research, developer tooling, all sorts of stuff. So I've I built my own instead. Has built-in LSPs that kind of just run. So you just say activate my TypeScript LSP or my Swift LSP, and both away it goes. It's really, really good.
Dang, son. What? Yo, it's from Mario? No, this is the license. Yep. Wait, did he make this? He forked his own stuff?
I believe so.
What the heck? Who are the top?
I think some of the stuff is Mario's. He forked. It's a fork of Pi, so.
Yeah. Oh, I see. That's what it's. Yep. Okay. Well, who is this? Oh my god, security researcher from the Netherlands. Oh my god, this guy cooks.
It's a good little harness. I'm a big fan of it.
Damn, son.
Wow. That's why I really want T3 to get ACP so I can wire it in.
Oh, yeah, because then you would just be launching sessions in T3.
Yep.
Okay. This
Moshi, it works fine in Moshi, to be fair. I like the GUI from T3. It's just a very simple, nice UI.
Yeah. Dang. Okay. So let's see. You've been having some issues with inconsistent with Opus 5. Got OMP right away. And 5.6 Sol has been reliable choice so far. So we're going to try Opus more with OMP. Yeah, I think that's probably not a bad bet. Yeah.
If you really want some advice for OMP with Opus 5, if you run Opus 5 on high, not extra high, because you really don't need extra high. High is more than enough and uses way less tokens. Do your planning and stuff with OMP. Do your implementation, like if you're going to implement with Opus, if you've got access to GPT or any other model family, get another model family to review the code that it writes and just create that as a loop, and you'll get much better outputs.
So like you can have Grok write the code for you if you have a Grok subscription as part of your X Twitter thing or whatever, because it just Opus did all the work. And then have Sol or someone review it and then the loopback. It's just like, that's killer. That's awesome.
The whole point of having cross models is where it's at. You need a different model family to validate the work, because like even in the human world, a normal dev doesn't test his own work. They usually have a dev team and a test team, a QA team. It's different people, and it's done that way for a reason. AI follows the same suit. Get one family to implement, another family to validate.
Yeah. And then like Lauren has a stack about teaching, teach me skill. So like you want to teach the agents and the harness, like how, you do your testing or whatever stuff you need to do. And then once it learns that, it's just kind of will pick that up and run for itself. And you don't need a smart model to do that. It's just going to click through and do stuff. And
Exactly.
that's awesome. Does it have support for dynamic workflows like Claude Code?
What, all my pie?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but this is a question I get asked a lot. So I'm going to settle it once for all. Dynamic workflows work on one principle and one principle only. It's a skill. It's just a skill file. That's all it is. It's all it is in Claude Code. It's all it is in Codex. It's all it is in any harness. If a harness doesn't support it, you can enable it by simply creating a skill that defines the workflow, because that's all a skill is. A skill is simply a workflow that tells the AI, do not work the way you normally do, work this way instead.
So PStack is a great example because there's lots of workflows in there. There's like 40 plus workflows from code review to research to everything. Yep. So like it's just a skill.
The question itself is a redundant question. It's a very good question, but it's not a real thing. You just need to understand that the harnesses are fully modular via the skills system.
That's a good.
You can literally make the harness do whatever the hell you want if it's well documented in a skill. Sometimes you might need to include instructions, like you may need to launch Claude Code via Claude-P, for example. But it's always going to be possible. You just need to write the skill files and kind of tweak around until you get it to do what you want it to do. A skill is a repeatable process or workflow. That's what a skill is. So go and make skills. You can automate your entire life just via skills. They're amazing.
That's crazy. Or just use Grok Bot.
Yeah, but you give Grok Bot access to skills and it cooks even more.
Yeah, that's facts. I mean, that's why I'm using potato mode.
Exactly.
Like that's like kind of meta and stuff like that.
My rule of thumb is quite simple. If I do something more than twice, I create a skill for it.
If I do something more than twice, create a skill. Yeah, that's facts. That's actually a really good thing. Damn son. Well, I think this is a good way to kind of like close out the stream. It's like, T3 code, super easy to set up. Skills, workflows. Workflows just a rebrand for skills. If you're like, oh, we don't know what a agent's MD file is. I'm sorry. Just Claude MD? Yeah. That's it. It's like, it's really funny how you can think about these things. But yeah.
One final tip for you. Claude Code obviously doesn't support the agents.md standard. So what I tend to do, because obviously if I'm using T3 and it launches Claude Code, everything that I've put in my agents.md, it's not going to read. I symlink Claude Code to agents.md. So I only update one file, but Claude automatically reads agents.md because it reads Claude MD as a symbolic link to agents.md.
That's awesome. Yeah, because you don't have to copy them. It kind of starts to see them in there. And if you're using any other IDE, like Cursor, like Factory, like any other one, OpenCode, everyone who has adopted agents.md except for Claude Code.
Exactly.
They know what to do with those files and kind of feed that into the context. So apparently, Claude is sort of looking into this and working on this. And they have their reasons. They've wrote a significant blog post about that. I don't want to go into detail, and I don't think this is that type of podcast anyways. We're just here really to focus on shipping software, working with craftsmen like people, working with fine adults like you guys who are watching this whole session. So I think, I love this feedback here. That's like, we'll need more of these. So yeah, Corialis absolutely cooks. I have some links in the description. Check out some of his stuff. Check out Lee Engineering, which I linked below as well. a really great resource for, shipping with these agents. And my guy is like he said, I don't know, he's $12,000 of tokens in the last couple of days or something like that. Burn baby burn, but multiple pro accounts. And then, really, really cool workflow. So I like to meet different people. They teach me different things. He's a longtime member of the Discord. Right now, the Discord is like kind of private right now. So if you were able to get in, you were kind of like my first early members. I have opened up this like really fun tier stuff. So like this is mostly for my, friends with like uber ridiculous amounts of money. If you want to sit at the chef's table, I actually do have a plan that you can sign up for YouTube and become a member there. That does get you access to the Discord that's currently only locked down for those members. So it does require, it's basically like 2 Claude Code subs, if you know what I mean. So that's kind of the price to get in. But I really don't expect people to use it there. It's more meant as like you've kind of made it so far in life, and this is just kind of means nothing to you basically in terms of like dollar amounts. So it's just kind of a fun way to support the channel. And it's kind of a fun way to also hang out with us. Maybe like once a month, we'll do these like, like really, chef's table type of streams. And I do like this concept of like having something like that. But as of now, what I plan to do is just kind of continue building on stream. If you haven't had a chance, I just released my video today on craftsmanship. And so you get to kind of hear about my take about these kids who, who are shipping these $1 million ARR apps and stuff and doing some really crazy stuff with Lambos in the background. So it's cool. I'm from a different era, and that's okay. And I think it's just, I don't know, I'm just being old school and kind of coming back to my roots, and I'm just really enjoying just being on stream, hanging out with y'all. So yeah, that's what's up. Cool. Thank you for the session. Appreciate you guys. Also appreciate the good vibes, and appreciate everyone who's been able to make it to the stream and like just being MVPs for all that you do. Be sure to check out the free school community, rfer.me/startmyai. Totally free. Pop a thread in there. A lot of folks are popping in there, helping each other out. This is what it's all about. Corialis, thank you so much for joining the show, man. So chill. Like,
pleasure.
Definitely have you on for part 2, because there's going to be some more stuff and more models, things that are cooking. We're trying to see if we can get our intelligence back and better than Fable. So stay tuned, folks. We'll have some more soon. More updates on that. Peace out, y'all.
Bye.